in the house, goddammit. It is what it is. Yeah. Oh, you ain't want to be in this motherfucker.
I'm gonna slide out.
Yeah. Coming soon. Yep. We see you, big sloppy. Yeah.
Signature chops right here. This is why they call it sloppy chops.
That's it.
Make everyday rosemary, garlic tomatoes, and some stuff I can't tell you about.
No.
All right.
No.
This is also our sloppy New Yorker. And this is just one of our pastas here. This is a lobster and shrimp pasta. And this is our lobster, shrimp, mac, and cheese. I had to say that slow so you can get it all.
Don't think you finna come here and get a fast, hot and ready meal. That's not happening. You want to sit down, enjoy yourself, order everything that you want, and it's all a la carte. So
You like it? It's lamb.
Ooh, it's lamb.
It's from a restaurant called Sloppy Chops.
It's good.
It's good.
Detroit is a city that builds things. And one man spent 20 years building something the city had never seen before. And then somebody took it all away. His name was Michael Brown. Most people called him Mike B. He was a father of 5, a husband, a community pillar who made sure nobody around him ever went hungry. He built 2 restaurants from nothing in a city that doesn't hand anything to anybody. And on a Saturday morning before the sun even came up, he was gone. But here is what nobody is telling you. The 2 other people who were shot that night were found right in front of the bar. Both of them survived. Mike B. was found across the street, not steps away, not around the corner, across the street. That detail has never been publicly explained, not once. The 3 questions to ask: why was he found across the street? Who brought him there that night? And who benefits most from the most valuable real estate in Detroit's modern history suddenly becoming available? Stay with me, because this is the story nobody is telling. 60 days before Mike B. was killed, the building directly across from his restaurant went dark. General Motors had packed up and walked out of Detroit after 50 years, and the billion-dollar redevelopment of that exact corridor had already been approved. November 12th, 2025, the Detroit Downtown Development Authority approves $75 million for the East Jefferson Corridor. January 2026, GM vacates the Renaissance Center directly across the street from Mike B.'s restaurant. February 28th, 2026, Mike B. is shot and killed. And today, no arrest, no suspect, no answers. That is the timeline. And that timeline has a hole in the middle where an explanation should be. This man fed Detroit through a pandemic. He opened a restaurant when everyone told him it was a mistake. He said no young person would go hungry as long as he was around, and he kept that promise every single day. His brother stood before cameras with his voice breaking and asked the city to say something. 5 children are still waiting for an answer. Today we are going deeper into this case than anyone has gone before. We are talking about the man, the murder, the investigation that has gone silent, and the billion-dollar question sitting right underneath all of it. Stay with me, because this story goes much deeper than the headlines. And somebody out there, right now, knows exactly what happened on that sidewalk. We are going to make sure they cannot stay quiet forever. To understand what happened to Michael Brown, You first have to understand where Michael Brown came from. Because in Detroit, where you come from is not just a detail. It is everything. It is the foundation of who you become, what you build, and who shows up when everything falls apart. Michael Brown grew up in Detroit. He attended Southfield Lathrop High School, and from a young age, he understood something about the city that takes most people decades to figure out. Detroit has a pulse. It has a rhythm. And if you can feel that rhythm, really feel it, you can do things with it that other people cannot even imagine. He started in promotion. For over 20 years, Michael Brown had his fingerprints on virtually every corner of Detroit's entertainment and nightlife world. He was the guy who knew how to fill a room, how to read a crowd, how to walk into a space and make every single person inside feel like they were exactly where they were supposed to be. That was not just a skill, that was a calling. And over 20 years of showing up, of being present, of earning trust one handshake and one event at a time, he built something that money alone cannot buy. He built a name that meant something to real people in real neighborhoods across this entire city. But here is what separates Mike B from everyone else who has ever worked a room in Detroit. He was not just building a career. He was building towards something. A destination he could see clearly even when nobody around him could see it yet. And in 2020, in the middle of a global pandemic that was shutting businesses down across the entire world, he showed everybody exactly what that destination looked like. When Michael Brown announced he was opening a restaurant in 2020, the reaction from people around him was not applause. It was doubtful. A high-end steakhouse concept, ribeyes, tomahawk cuts, lamb chops, not downtown, not in a trendy district with built-in foot traffic. On West McNichols, just off the Lodge Freeway, right in the heart of the neighborhood. People said it quietly at first, then louder. A fine dining concept in that location during a pandemic? The critics had their reasons, and Mike B heard every single word of it. And then he opened the doors anyway. Within months, lines were forming outside the building. People were driving from across the city, across the state just to get a table. The lamb chop specials took on a life of their own. People talked about them the way people talk about something that feels like it belongs to them. Because it did. Mike B had created something that the community took personal ownership of. And that is one of the rarest things a business owner can ever achieve in their lifetime. But here is what his critics never understood. Mike B was not just opening a restaurant. He was making a statement. He was saying, out loud, in brick and mortar, with every plate that came out of that kitchen, that Detroit's neighborhoods deserved exactly what downtown had been quietly hoarding for years. He was not just opening a restaurant. He was planting a flag. And Detroit knew exactly what that meant. He called it Black Wall Street, not as a historical reference to mourn, as a present tense project to build. A year after Sloppy Chops, Mike B made his next move. And this one was different. This one was not just about feeding a neighborhood. This one was about something bigger. He opened Sloppy Crab on East Jefferson Avenue, right near the Renaissance Center. He later rebranded it as the Crab Sports Bar. And once again, the location was not accidental. It was intentional. It was pointed. He said it himself. Opening near the Renaissance Center was about answering the question of where the Black people were downtown. Read that statement slowly. Let it land. Because that is not a man talking about foot traffic and revenue projections. That is a man making a declaration about who belongs in the center of his own city. Alongside his business partner chef Al Maxley, Mike B was going toe-to-toe with some of the biggest and most established seafood and steakhouse brands in Detroit as Black men, and he said that reality pushed them every single day to work harder than everyone else in the room. And he was not stopping there. He was talking about Atlanta, Houston, Miami. He told a journalist, a journalist who had to call him more than 20 times before he finally agreed to sit down, that he was building the sloppy brand until it was operating at perfection. And then he was going to take it national. 2 restaurants, a national expansion plan, a location on the most contested corridor in Detroit's modern history, and a man who was not going anywhere. Not for any price. Not for any pressure. Not for anybody. One community member who watched all of this unfold described what Mike B. built on Jefferson Avenue as a major monopoly move. And when you understand what was about to happen to that corridor, that description becomes the most important 3 words in this entire story. But before we go any further into the business and the buildings and the billion-dollar questions, I need you to know who this man was when the restaurant doors were closed. There is a woman in Detroit who will tell you that Mike B. hosted her mother's memorial service for free, completely out of the love in his heart. No invoice, no publicity, no social media posts about it. He just showed up and made sure she had somewhere to grieve properly. That kind of generosity does not make headlines when it happens. It only surfaces after someone is gone. He said it plainly, and the people around him heard it clearly enough to repeat it after he was gone. No young person is going to be hungry as long as I am around. That was not a slogan on a wall. That was a promise. And he kept it every single day.
Specifically around hunger, he always did things to make sure that people had food, that he would say that there's no young person that's going to be hungry as long as I'm around.
Even when this city showed him its ugliest side, during the pandemic, when a party of 4 sat down, ate well, and then ran out on a $340 bill, a bill that represented a significant chunk of the entire day's business, his response was not rage. It was not a threat. He looked at what happened, and he called it one word. You know what word he used to describe it? Disappointing. Not furious. Not threatening. Disappointing. That one word tells you everything you need to know about who Michael Brown was. He called it childish. And then he moved forward. His solution was not rage. His solution was not retaliation. His solution was protection. He hired security, because that is how Mike B. handled a threat. He handled it. Remember that, because it comes back later in the story, and when it does, it hits completely different.
Our father passed when I was 1 year old. He was 5 years old, and my oldest brother was 10 years old. He taught me how to play basketball. He was always on me about my grades and my behavior.
5 children, a wife, a brother who looked up to him his entire life, a community that considered him their own. That is who Michael Brown was. That is what was walking around Detroit on the night of February 28th, 2026. And that is what somebody decided to end. Detroit at night has always been its own world. Anyone who has lived here knows this. The city does not slow down after dark. It transforms. The restaurants give way to the lounges. The lounges give way to the after-hours spots. And the after-hours spots exist in a space that has always been complicated legally, socially, and in every other way that matters. Suite 100 Lounge on Schaefer Highway has been operating since the 1970s. Originally a quiet spot catering to an older Detroit crowd. But in recent years, neighbors describe a shift. A younger clientele, a more volatile energy, and operating hours that pushed well past Michigan's legal 2:30 a.m. cutoff for alcohol service. On the night Mike B. was there, February 28th going into March 1st, Suite 100 was running 2 full hours past legal closing time. No oversight. No accountability. A building full of people in the dead hours of Saturday morning doing what after-hours spots in every major American city do. Operating in the space between the law and the street where nobody officially is watching. Now here is the first question that nobody has answered publicly. Mike B. was not a regular at Suite 100. Everything about his world, his restaurants, his community, his people was miles away from Schaefer Highway. Geographically and culturally, His world was 6 Mile and East Jefferson. His crowd was built over 20 years in Detroit's East Side and downtown entertainment corridors. So, what placed him at Suite 100 at 4:30 in the morning? Mike B. was purposeful, focused, not someone who wandered, not someone who ended up places by accident. That man does not drift into an illegal after-hours bar 2 miles from his world at 4:30 in the morning without a reason, without someone he trusted telling him to be there. His phone records hold the answer to this. Who called him that night? Who texted? Who extended the invitation that brought Michael Brown to Schaefer Highway? Law enforcement has not stated publicly whether those records have been examined, or what they show. And in that silence, the most important forensic thread in this entire case sits unaddressed. Here is what we know about what happened on the night of February 28, 2026. And I need you to pay very close attention because there is a detail in this scene that every single other piece of coverage about this case has walked right past. And it is a detail that changes everything about how we understand that night. By 4:30 in the morning, the crowd at Suite 100 was thinning. The natural rhythm of a night winding down. People gather their things, saying their goodbyes, stepping outside into the cool early morning air. The night felt ordinary. And then it didn't. Gunfire. Multiple shots. 3 people struck. Detroit police responded fast. The area was secured. Yellow tape went up around a scene that just hours before was simply another Saturday night gathering on the west side. Detroit police found 2 of the 3 shooting victims directly in front of Suite 100 Lounge. Both of them survived. Michael Brown was found across the street. Not steps away. Not around the corner. Across the street. Did Mike B. run when the shooting started? Was he chased across the street? Was he never in front of that building at all? Was this one connected incident? Or was this something specifically and deliberately aimed at him? Because those are not the same question. And the answer changes everything. The Detroit Police Department has not addressed the geography of that crime scene in any public statement. Not once. Do you remember what we told you earlier? About the dine and dash? About the $340 bill and the party of 4 who ran out during the pandemic? About the word Mike B. used, disappointing, and about what he did next? His solution was not rage. His solution was not retaliation. His solution was protection. He hired security, because that is how Mike B. handled a threat. He handled it. So on the night that mattered most, on a west side sidewalk at 4:30 in the morning, where was the security? Who was responsible for maintaining order outside Suite 100 as the night wound down and people began spilling onto the street? And is it possible that somebody chose that location and that moment, not randomly but deliberately because they understood the window that existed? The man who knew better than anyone the importance of security had none protecting him. On the night it mattered most. That is not just tragic. That is a detail that deserves a public answer. Detroit police responded to the scene at Suite 100 quickly. Officers secured the area. Detectives began their work. Evidence was collected. Surveillance footage from surrounding businesses was pulled and reviewed. Witnesses were identified and questioned. All of the machinery of a homicide investigation was set into motion within hours of the shooting. And then the days started passing. 1 day passed. No arrest. 3 days. No named suspect. 1 full week. No surveillance footage released to the public. No press conference with new details. No announcement of a person of interest. Nothing. Just silence from an investigation that should have been moving fast. All this city got was one line. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information is asked to call 1-800-SPEAK UP. That was it. That was all. For a man this visible, this loved, this deeply rooted in the fabric of Detroit, That was the official response. When someone that visible gets killed and the investigation goes quiet, that silence carries weight. And Detroit noticed. The community that had been watching cases involving Black victims go quiet in this city for years, they noticed immediately. The city acted on the venue in days. It has not acted publicly on who killed the man who died outside it. And that asymmetry, the speed of one response versus the silence of the other, is its own statement about where the urgency has been directed. Here is what I know about Detroit. And if you are from here, you already know this too. This city talks. Detroit has always talked. Information moves through these neighborhoods in ways that outsiders do not fully understand. When something happens on the west side at 4:30 in the morning outside a bar full of people, there are witnesses. There are always witnesses.
People who saw something.
People who heard something. People who knew something before it even happened. And right now, those people are quiet. That collective silence in a city that talks is itself a kind of answer. It tells you that whatever happened outside Suite 100 that morning is complicated enough and close enough to home that people are weighing very carefully what they say and to whom they say it.
My brother took care of a lot of people. He provided a lot of jobs. Now I just ask that you guys help him out this one time and speak up.
If you know something, please make the call. 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Detroit Crime Stoppers. In 6 years and over 46,000 tips submitted, not one anonymous caller has ever been identified.
Not one.
You can speak without anyone ever knowing it was you. And that call could be the thing that finally brings justice to a family that has been waiting since the morning they got the worst news of their lives. Now I need you to put everything you have learned about Mike B., who he was, what he built, where he planted his flag, and hold it next to what I am about to show you. Because what follows is not a theory. It is a documented timeline. And it has a hole in the middle where an explanation should be. November 12th, 2025, the Detroit Downtown Development Authority votes unanimously to approve $75 million in public funding for the East Jefferson Corridor, part of a $1.6 billion redevelopment plan. Dan Gilbert's Bedrock, General Motors, a pedestrian promenade running straight down Jefferson Avenue. The developers called it a once-in-a-generation transformation of Detroit's downtown waterfront. The money had already moved. The decisions had already been made. The corridor where Mike B. had planted his flag, 519 East Jefferson, directly across from the Renaissance Center, was about to become the most valuable real estate in Detroit's modern history. January 2026. General Motors packs up and walks out of the Renaissance Center after 50 years. The building directly across the street from Mike B.'s restaurant goes dark. And across that street, Mike B. still had his name on the door. Still building. Still planning. Still refusing to move. 1 month later, he was dead. 108 days. That is the distance between a unanimous vote on the most valuable corridor in modern Detroit history and a man bleeding on a west side sidewalk with no arrest, no named suspect, and weeks of silence, so complete it echoed. That is not atmosphere. That is a documented timeline with a hole in the middle where an explanation should be. In Detroit, location carries history. It carries meaning. The East Jefferson Corridor had been overlooked for years, sitting in the shadow of the Renaissance Center's massive concrete podium that made it feel more like a fortress than a destination. But anyone who understood where Detroit's money was flowing knew that the riverfront was the next frontier. Mike B. saw it coming before almost anyone else did. He planted his flag early. And what he built at 519 East Jefferson was not just a restaurant. It was a position. It was leverage. An established Black-owned business with a loyal customer base and a recognizable brand, sitting on the most contested stretch of real estate in Detroit's modern redevelopment story. for a developer trying to assemble and control a contiguous stretch of Jefferson Avenue real estate. A business like Mike B's is something you need to deal with, one way or another. Usually that dealing is financial, an offer, a negotiation, a buyout structured attractively enough that the holdout eventually yields. But what happens when the holdout does not yield? What happens when the person sitting on that position is a builder who spent 2 decades working toward exactly that kind of foothold and has no intention of giving it up for any price? Here is where I need to be precise, because precision is what separates serious investigation from noise. Let me tell you exactly what is confirmed and exactly what is not. Here is what is verified, confirmed by multiple sources and public record. The $1.6 billion redevelopment plan is real and documented. The $75 million DDA vote happened on November 12, 2025. GM vacated the Renaissance Center in January 2026. Mike B's restaurant sat directly across from that building on East Jefferson. He had publicly stated expansion plans for that same corridor. He was killed on February 28, 2026. No arrest has been made. No suspect has been publicly named. And Detroit police have confirmed that witnesses are not talking. Now here is what is unverified. These are community-level claims that have not been independently confirmed. First, that someone approached Mike B about selling his Jefferson Avenue property and that he refused. There is no public record of this conversation. Real estate pressure between private parties almost never surfaces publicly unless it reaches litigation. We cannot confirm it happened, but we can confirm that the conditions that would make such a conversation likely, a prime address in an active billion-dollar development corridor held by someone with deep community roots who is expanding rather than retreating, those conditions were absolutely present. Second, that Mike B may have been scheduled to testify in an upcoming legal case. No court records. No prosecutor statements. Nothing in any public database confirms this. We are presenting both of these as exactly what they are. Unverified, but uncomfortably close to everything that is confirmed. Mike B was 52 years old when he died. He had been building since his 20s. 2 decades of promotion, club ownership, event production, and then restaurants. That kind of sustained building over that length of time does not happen without a specific psychological profile. It requires the ability to hold a long-term vision while managing short-term chaos. It requires genuine comfort with risk. And it requires something that psychologists call identity fusion with your work, the state where what you have built and who you are become so deeply intertwined that walking away from what you built feels like walking away from yourself. People with that psychological profile do not sell when pressure comes. They double down. They expand. They read pressure as confirmation that they are in the right place, because nobody applies pressure to something that does not matter. Mike B was planning a second Jefferson location at the same time that billion-dollar interests were reorganizing the corridor around him. That is not ignorance of the situation. That is a man who understood exactly what was happening and chose to dig in harder. We are not saying that is what happened. We are saying that is a logic that property-motivated violence follows when negotiation fails. It is documented in cities across America wherever rapid gentrification intersects with established community anchors who refuse to yield. The violence almost never looks like what it is until after the fact. And the people who authorize it almost never appear in the narrative at all. What appears in the narrative is a shooting outside a bar. 3 people shot. 1 dead. No suspect. No motive. No answers. The architecture of this kind of crime is designed to look like something else. That is its most important feature. When the news broke, Detroit responded the way it responds when it loses someone who truly belonged to it. Social media filled up fast. Not with rumors. Not with speculation. With love. With memories. with the kind of tributes that only get written for people who actually left a mark on the lives around them. People who had eaten at Sloppy Chops once and never forgot it. People who had known Mike B for decades. People who had been helped by him in ways that had nothing to do with food, but everything to do with the kind of man he chose to be every single day.
You, bro, thank you for taking care of your little brother and your nieces, and I got your kids, and I love you.
Mike B, man, I love you. My uncle, the greatest business owner in the city. You held it down for Detroit for 25, 30 years. We love you. We're gonna miss you, man. Rest in peace.
And we out here at Sloppy, man. It's a sad day, but a glorious day. We're gonna lay our man down the right way, man. He was something different. Hall of Famer of Detroit, man. Mike B, man. 25 in, that's my guy. Love him to death. And don't know how it's gonna be without him. It's definitely gonna be different.
I wanna say, brother, we gonna miss you, man. We're gonna continue this journey, this marathon that we on. And it's all love, man.
Mike B, love you so much. One of the realest people I ever met. Entrepreneur, leader. He was everything. Realist, helped everybody in this city. Helped me. The advice he gave me, I wouldn't even go. It's a book. Gave me so much advice. He was the realest. I was one of the people that work at Sloppy Chops. I was here 2.5 years. He was the realest person. Rest in peace to you. Love you so much.
Okay, so about Mike, my voice is a little raspy, but love to have a great time. Party guy, fun, always smiling, loving, whatever, welcoming. We're gonna miss you. We love you.
So my big bro, Mike B, and your boy Wade Crawford, grew up together, Southfield, played on the basketball team. He's a true humanitarian, loved his people, and we're gonna certainly miss him. We love you, man.
I would like to say rest in peace, Big Mike. In my city, on the west side of 6 Mile, he was known as Big Sexy. Always had it going on for many, many years. My deepest condolences to the family, never forgotten and gone way too soon. And I want to say to my father, Wildcat, rest in peace. Two of the greatest souls in the city of Detroit, well known and legends.
Very well loved, respected. He was an asset to our community. He fed us good. He even went past food to do community service and to help community organizations and people.
And Mike B did not die alone in Detroit's grief that week. In that same stretch of days, the city also lost Daryl Hasty, known across Detroit as D. Hasty, a beloved jeweler and community figure. Two men who were pillars of Black Detroit, gone within days of each other. We are not drawing investigative connections between those two losses. But what it reveals is a community absorbing grief from multiple directions at once, asking out loud how much they were expected to endure before something actually changed. Mike B's death did not happen in a vacuum, and Detroit did not treat it like it did. His death lit a fire under a policy debate that his community had been trying to have quietly for years. New Era Detroit stepped forward immediately. Their message was direct and unambiguous. The hours between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. outside bars and after-hours spots in the city have been costing Detroit far too much for far too long. Not just in lives lost, in businesses shuttered, in families fractured, in community builders who never get the chance to finish what they started. Councilwoman Angela Whitfield Calloway announced enforcement action. Pastor M.O. went on record with a promise. An ordinance is coming. The community is going to have its foot on it. Suite 100 was shut down. The city moved on the venue within days. His name may end up written into Detroit city law through a new after-hours ordinance. That is an honor and a tragedy existing in the exact same sentence. His restaurants now sit in a place of deep uncertainty. No public announcement has been made about their future operations or ownership. His family and his business partners are being asked to make enormous decisions while simultaneously processing a loss that has no roadmap. Every employee who worked those kitchens, every person who built their livelihood inside those walls.
They are all sitting in uncertainty right now.
The ripple from what happened on Schaefer Highway extends into lives and families that most of the coverage has not even begun to touch. Here is where we land, not with answers, because this case does not have public answers yet, with the questions that deserve to be asked louder than they are being asked right now. Why was he found across the street from the other 2 shooting victims? And why has that detail never been publicly addressed by the Detroit Police Department? 3 people were shot in one incident, and the geography of that scene has never been explained. That is not a small footnote. That could be the single most important key to understanding what actually happened that night. Who brought him to Suite 100 that night? Mike B. was purposeful. He did not drift. Someone he trusted made a call or sent a message that placed him on Schaefer Highway at 4:30 in the morning.
Who was it?
And where are they now? What do the 2 survivors know? They were standing right there. They survived.
They saw what happened.
Have they cooperated with investigators? What have they said? The public has been told nothing. Who benefits most from 519 East Jefferson becoming available in the middle of a $1.6 billion transformation of that corridor? When a new name eventually appears on that door, who will it be? And will anyone be paying close enough attention to ask why? Is the person who invited Mike B. to Suite 100 someone who has been publicly visible in the grief and the tribute since his death, performing mourning while maintaining silence? And the question that sits beneath all of it, Detroit has watched Black economic presence get quietly erased from neighborhood after neighborhood as the money came back to the city. Usually the erasure is financial. Offers, pressure, tax changes, zoning shifts. This time, it was loud. 3 people shot, 1 dead, no suspect, weeks of silence. Is this what the erasure looks like when it finally stops being quiet? Mike B. was not on the margins of his community. He was not a cautionary tale. He was the success story, the man people pointed to as proof of what was possible in this city. And he still ended up on a street in his own city at 52 years old, before the sun came up, with 5 children who woke up that Saturday morning and their father was never coming home. That should shake something real inside of you, because if it can happen to him, the questions of why and how and who are not just a matter for a police department to handle quietly. They belong to all of us. He fed Detroit literally and figuratively. He showed up. He fired up the grill. He opened the doors. He made sure that anyone who walked into his world left better than they came in. He built something from nothing in a city that does not hand anything to anybody. And somebody took all of that away. But here is what I know about truth. It is stubborn. It does not stay buried forever. It finds cracks. It finds the moments when someone's conscience gets too heavy to carry. It finds the late nights when what a person knows starts costing more to keep inside than it would to let out. Truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deep somebody tries to push it down. And when it surfaces in this case, when the silence finally breaks and this story moves from open questions to real answers, we are going to be right here. This case is still open. If you were anywhere near Schaefer Highway on the night of February 28th going into March 1st, 2026, if you saw something, heard something, or know something, please make the call. 1-800-SPEAK UP. Detroit Crime Stoppers. In 6 years and over 46,000 tips submitted, not one anonymous caller has ever been identified. Not one. You can speak without anyone ever knowing it was you. Do not carry what you know alone. Do not let whoever did this continue to walk free because silence felt safer than the truth. Mike B. spent his whole life making sure people were taken care of, making sure nobody around him went without, making sure Detroit had something real to hold on to. The least this city can do, the least we can do, is make sure his story gets the ending it deserves. Rest well, Michael Brown. Detroit has not forgotten you, and this story is not over